Jarrod Schulz was once presented to audiences as one of the most recognizable faces of reality television, a man who turned a troubled past into a story of redemption on screen. Alongside Brandi Passante, he became a breakout personality on Storage Wars, where their dynamic energy, arguments, and hustle earned them the nickname Young Guns. To viewers, he looked like someone who had fully escaped the mistakes of his youth and built a stable family life, a business presence, and a television career. Yet behind the edited moments and televised success was a far more complicated reality shaped by addiction history, financial instability, emotional volatility, and unresolved personal struggles. The image of transformation was powerful, but it was never complete. Over time, the cracks in that image widened until they eventually broke open in public view. What unfolded years after his rise to fame was not a simple downfall, but a gradual unraveling of the life he had worked to build. From early legal troubles to a prison sentence, from business failures to a highly public breakup, and finally to legal accusations that ended his television career, Jarrod Schulz's story became a reminder that fame does not erase the past. Instead, it often magnifies it, exposing what was never fully healed beneath the surface. Early legal troubles and the prison sentence that changed everything. Long before television fame, Jarrod Schulz's life was already marked by serious mistakes that set the tone for much of what followed. In his early 20s, he became involved in drug-related activity, eventually leading to his arrest in the late 1990s for possession of methamphetamine and related offenses. Although the court initially showed leniency, offering him what amounted to a second chance with probation and a short jail sentence, that opportunity quickly collapsed. Within a week of release, he was arrested again, this time facing additional charges that included driving under the influence and possession issues that violated his conditions. The court viewed this rapid return to criminal behavior as evidence of a deeper pattern, not an isolated mistake. As a result, his sentence escalated dramatically, and he was sent to state prison for 16 months. Unlike county jail, state prison exposed him to a far harsher environment populated by long-term offenders, creating an experience that forced him to confront the consequences of his actions more directly. According to accounts, this period became a turning point in his mindset, giving him a clearer understanding of what continued down that path could lead to. However, while prison may have altered his perspective, it did not erase his record or fully resolve the behavioral patterns that had contributed to his downfall in the first place. Brandi Passante and the illusion of stability after prison. After his release, Jarrod Schulz attempted to rebuild his life in a more stable direction, taking on work outside of criminal activity and slowly re-entering society with limited prospects. Around this time, Brandi Passante entered his life and became a major turning point. Their relationship developed quickly, built on shared ambition, emotional connection, and a mutual desire to create a better future. Brandi did not define him by his criminal past, and instead saw potential in him that others overlooked. Together, they started building a family, welcoming their son Cameron and later their daughter Peyton, while also working regular jobs and trying to establish financial stability. Jarrod eventually entered the mortgage business during the housing boom, experiencing temporary success that gave him a sense of legitimacy and upward mobility. For a period, it seemed like he had successfully transitioned into a responsible family man and entrepreneur. However, the collapse of the housing market erased much of that progress, leaving him financially strained and uncertain again. It was during this period of instability that the idea of storage auctions emerged, eventually connecting him and Brandi to the opportunity that would become Storage Wars. While Brandi provided emotional grounding and structure, the pressures of rebuilding after failure and maintaining financial stability remained constant, creating underlying tension that would later resurface in more destructive ways. Rise to fame through storage auctions and television success. The transition into storage auctions marked the beginning of Jarrod Schulz's most visible success. When Storage Wars premiered in 2010, he and Brandi were introduced as resourceful underdogs, competing against more experienced and financially powerful bidders. Their appeal came not from polished professionalism but from raw energy, authenticity, and the natural chemistry between them. Viewers connected with their dynamic because it felt real rather than scripted, with arguments, humor, and teamwork forming the emotional backbone of their appearances. The show quickly became a major success, drawing millions of viewers and establishing Jarrod as a recognizable television personality. His transformation from former felon to reality TV star was widely framed as a redemption narrative, one where persistence and hustle overcame a troubled past. Financially, the show brought significant earnings and opportunities, along with public recognition that extended beyond television into appearances and business visibility. Eventually, the popularity of their segment led to additional exposure and a spin-off that further expanded their brand presence. However, the demands of fame also introduced new pressures, including constant filming, public scrutiny, and the expectation to maintain a successful image both on and off camera. While the surface-level story suggested stability and achievement, the reality behind the scenes involved growing stress, financial dependency on television income, and unresolved personal tensions that were becoming harder to ignore as time went on. Business expansion, financial pressure, and the strain of failed ventures. As fame from Storage Wars grew, Jarrod Schulz attempted to convert his television success into long-term business stability by investing in physical retail ventures. One of the most significant efforts was a thrift store business that he and Brandi Passante opened, intended to serve as a foundation for financial independence beyond television income. Initially, the idea appeared promising, especially as the show provided free publicity and steady visibility for their brand. Encouraged by early momentum, they expanded by opening additional locations, hoping to scale the business into something sustainable. However, reality proved far less forgiving than expected. Despite the exposure from television, the stores struggled with profitability, operational costs, and competition in the retail market. One location closed within a year, and the remaining store eventually shut down as well, leaving behind another failed business venture. These losses echoed earlier financial setbacks in Jarrod's life, reinforcing a recurring pattern of instability despite periods of success. While television income continued, it was not a permanent solution, and the failure of the thrift stores represented more than financial loss. It represented the collapse of a long-term vision of independence. For Jarrod, each failed venture added pressure, frustration, and emotional strain, contributing to a growing sense that stability was always temporary and difficult to maintain, regardless of effort or public success. The breakdown of a long-term relationship and its emotional fallout. The relationship between Jarrod Schulz and Brandi Passante, once central to their public identity, eventually deteriorated after years of personal and professional strain. Although they remained a recognizable couple on Storage Wars, their real-life relationship had already begun to fracture behind the scenes. By the late 2010s, the emotional distance between them had grown significantly, leading to their separation around 2018. For a time, they continued working together professionally despite no longer being a couple, maintaining appearances for the sake of business and television obligations. However, the tension between them became increasingly visible, with interactions on screen reflecting unresolved conflict and emotional detachment. Brandi later described herself as effectively managing life as a single parent during the relationship, highlighting the imbalance that had developed over time. The breakup marked a major turning point in Jarrod's life, removing not only his partner but also his business collaborator and daily emotional anchor. Their separation also impacted their children, who were old enough to understand the change in family dynamics. Without Brandi's stabilizing presence, Jarrod faced a period of personal instability that would later intersect with public controversy. The end of the relationship did not occur in isolation. It became part of a broader pattern of breakdowns in both his personal and professional life. The bar incident that triggered legal consequences and public fallout. Several years after their separation, a confrontation between Jarrod Schulz and Brandi Passante in an Orange County bar brought their strained relationship back into public focus. What began as a chance encounter escalated into a heated verbal exchange that reportedly turned physical. According to accounts, Jarrod allegedly pushed Brandi during the altercation, leading to police involvement and an investigation into the incident. Although he denied the allegations, prosecutors charged him with misdemeanor domestic violence battery, framing the event as part of a broader pattern of aggressive behavior rather than an isolated moment. The incident quickly gained attention due to their public history and television fame, intensifying scrutiny of Jarrod's behavior and personal conduct. For Brandi, the event reinforced her decision to maintain distance and focus on independence, while for Jarrod, it marked a significant legal and reputational setback. The case added to his existing history of legal trouble, reinforcing concerns about unresolved behavioral issues that had followed him since his youth. In the public eye, the incident shifted his image from reality television personality to someone facing serious personal and legal challenges, accelerating the decline of his television presence and professional reputation. The end of storage wars and the vanishing of a television identity. Following the legal controversy, Jarrod Schulz's role on Storage Wars effectively ended. Although some footage featuring him still aired after the incident due to production timelines, he was no longer included in future seasons. The network did not publicly center his departure, but his absence became increasingly clear as episodes continued without him, while Brandi Passante remained part of the cast. This separation from the show marked the end of his most visible career identity. For more than a decade, he had been known primarily as a young gun on a hit reality series, a label that defined his public persona and professional value. Without it, he lost not only income but also relevance in the entertainment industry. The disappearance from television was abrupt in terms of public perception, even if gradual behind the scenes. With no major media platform and declining visibility, Jarrod transitioned out of the entertainment spotlight entirely. His last public social media activity around that time further reinforced his withdrawal from public life. What remained was a fragmented public memory of his time on television, overshadowed by legal issues and personal controversy rather than his earlier success story. Life after fame, new relationships, and running a local business. In the years following his departure from television, Jarrod Schulz shifted his focus to running a local business, taking ownership of a bar and grill in Southern California. This move represented a return to smaller-scale entrepreneurship, away from the pressures of national television and public scrutiny. Reports suggest he became more involved in day-to-day operations, attempting to build a quieter and more private life. He also entered a new romantic relationship, which developed within his workplace environment, reflecting a more localized and less public personal life compared to his previous high-profile relationship with Brandi Passante. While the business provided structure, it did not restore the level of success or recognition he once experienced. Instead, it placed him in a position where his past fame occasionally resurfaced in customer interactions, often tied to questions about his television history and legal troubles. His children, now adults, grew up through the entire arc of his public and private struggles, witnessing both success and collapse firsthand. The contrast between his earlier image as a redemption story and his current low-profile existence highlights the unpredictability of long-term outcomes after fame fades. Conclusion on the fragile nature of reinvention and public redemption. The story of Jarrod Schulz ultimately reflects the complexity of personal reinvention and the limitations of public redemption narratives. While his journey appeared to transform him from a troubled young man into a successful television personality and entrepreneur, the underlying challenges in his behavior, relationships, and decision-making never fully disappeared. His life included moments of genuine progress, including family building, business creation, and financial success, but these were repeatedly undermined by instability and unresolved personal patterns. The collapse of his television career, the breakdown of his long-term relationship, and the legal issues that followed all contributed to a final image far removed from the optimistic story once presented on screen. Whether his earlier transformation was incomplete or temporary remains a matter of interpretation, but the outcome demonstrates that external success does not always reflect internal change. Jarrod Schulz's trajectory serves as a reminder that reinvention is not a single moment of change, but a continuous process that can falter under pressure, conflict, and unresolved history, leaving behind a legacy that is far more complicated than the version once seen on television.